Okay, greetings everyone. This is GERARD, editor-in-chief of Filipino Soul Magazine, aka S.G.I.B magazine. Stand for Soldiers Got Intention to Bleed Not, because everyone should be soldiering for something, a dream, a goal, an idea, a train of thought, something. And on the PPG's production, stand for Photos by GERARD, the best in freelance publicity photography. Well, right now it's Monday morning in the Philippines, Dumaguete. I'm in the G hours of the night. Actually, the sun's starting to come up, and I thought I'd do something a little different with you today. You know, usually around like 2:30, 3 in the morning, I usually walk or jog to the gas station. For some reason or other, I've always been concerned about my health. In fact, I've always kind of been disappointed at doctors when I go to the doctor and I said, look, you know, I'm 64 years old. You can't keep telling me I'm strong as an ox. You can't keep telling me that there's nothing wrong. Find something wrong, please. I'm having so much anxiety. You know, I know there's something going on, but they don't find nothing. So it's almost like when the time comes and they say, GERARD, you have this. Oh, thank you. At least I know there's something wrong with me, something happening. You know, at least I know that life is ultimately taking its course, which is simply you don't get out of life alive. And a big say a big prayer to Helen and Chrissy and oh my God, Floriel and the rest of the Bio family. Prayers for Helen's father and their grandfather, who is ill right now and had going through his own trials and tribulations. God speak to him. You know, so anyway, so you know, I usually jog over there and I play softball now on Saturdays. You know, I'm a better pitcher than I am a hitter. You know, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. I guess that is right. I'm a better pitcher than a hitter. You know, but anyway, so I thought I'd do something different with you today, or for myself as far as my exercising is concerned. You know, I don't speak too much about my big little brother, who I call him. You know, we are Irish twins. If you don't know what Irish twins are when two siblings are born within like 14 months, 12 months apart. You know, so they're known as Irish twins. And although we are that close together, we very rarely attended the same school, to kind of give you an idea of the dysfunction, I guess, of our family was. But I love him madly. But my brother has always been into music. He's always mixed tapes, and he's always gotten CDs and all this stuff. You know, he's always been able to finagle his way into getting, you know, music before it even came out. You know, in fact, sometimes I had promoted my brother. He is a music engineer, because he mixed CDs and tapes, and he's the bomb. I'm telling you, he's the bomb. If you ever heard that one that I play sometimes, or I have played with the memorial of Michael Jackson, the beat that he put behind Reverend Al Sharpton giving the eulogy, and then playing a mix of Michael Jackson song is awesome. So anyway, so my brother just sent me one, and I want to play it for you. Better yet, I want to dance. So I'm going to teach you how to dance today. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to teach you how to dance. You know, so especially you Filipino girls and girls around the world, get up and dance with me, because I'm going to dance with you. Okay, so I spoke with one of the DJs here. Matter of fact, DJ AJ, who's in the current issue of Filipino Soul Magazine. And I tried to ask him if he ever played some American music, American form of club music, but you know, sometimes communicate. It's hard to just tell someone something when you're out on an event. That's why whenever I'm out, you know, normally, you know, I don't discuss business or anything. See, she knows she usually goes for a walk around this time, so she's waiting by the gate, anticipating. No, we're not going out. Let me do put your pour in my mouth. You know, we're not gonna go out today. We'll go out later. Okay, I want to dance a little bit, get some exercise in. So anyway, so it's hard to discuss business whenever you're out. Okay, I don't want to see you. So anyway, so I don't. It's hard to discuss about business or anything like that. because for the obvious reason that it's not the right environment. So even when you meet someone, just give you a heads up, when you meet someone who maybe you want to talk business with or something like this, you don't because their mind somewhere else, just say, look, give me a card or such and such. But I'll tell you a story. I can't start a day without a story. I've always tried to find a representative. I learned a long time ago that, for instance, I worked as a photographer's assistant for a photographer named GERARD. Jeremiah Bean was from New Jersey, and he was a very accomplished photographer. He had gold albums on his wall where he has done photos for groups in the R&B music, in the classic soul. None comes to mind, but I remember seeing him. And I was a black and white lab technician, which means I do black and white very well. And he got paid $600 a day plus expenses. $600 a day plus expenses. We were doing a comforter. A comforter is like a big sheet that lays across a bed. And we were in a warehouse, and we had to wait about 4 hours for the pillow to arrive from Los Angeles that was specially made to make the comforter lay a certain way, so it had to be on the bed, to give you an idea. As an assistant, we had a gorgeous model laying on the bed. My job was because I'm very articulate, my job was to make sure the wrinkles were out, her dress was covered right, her legs, her hair was right, and everything was right for him. Jeremiah was on a ladder. He's shooting Hasselblad. If you don't know what Hasselblad is the top of the line German camera. And he had another assistant who was handing them the backs. Shoot, hand them back like this, and I'm standing aside. When she turns, they're doing my thing. So when we get back to, he is shooting and he's bracketing. If you don't know what bracketing is, if you ever look on your cell phone, there's a feature on there that's a bracket. It means that it takes 3 or 4 pictures of the same picture, but at different apertures, at different settings, and so that's called bracketing. It might be one stop up, one stop below, but this way to make sure you get the right exposure. So when we got back to the studio, we were shooting Ektachrome. Ektachrome was like a slide transparency, and he was shooting black and white. So I was handed the black and white to process, and his other assistant went to the lab to have the transparencies developed. So he gets the transparencies developed, and he comes back, and he's looking at these things, and they were so overexposed, so underexposed. I could not believe it. I'm thinking, God damn. I said, you get paid $600 a day? I said, shit, I can do better than that. But one thing that he had that I didn't have, and that was he had a representative. He had a representative that went around promoting him and finding him work, who the representative got a commission on. So one other time, my color instructor, his name was Rick Young. Rick Young was a very hippie type of instructor, your typical artsy-fartsy type of guy, whatever. And I'm not going to tell you any more than that about him. But I was at his house when I came there, and he had his girlfriend, Sean. Her name was Sean, beautiful, beautiful girl. And the phone rang. And Sean picked up the phone and said, hello, Rick Young. And the guy is talking to Sean. And Sean is looking at Rick, kind of repeat the thing. And he's giving her signs as far as how to answer the questions, for the client or the potential client. Oh, this thing's coming, I gotta get going. Of the potential client of the answer the questions. So anyway, so I said, damn, that's what I need. I need a representative. So from that point on, I always kind of moved around trying to find a good representative to represent me. So what happened was that when it's one event, and I'll tell you one other story. I was with this organization called Glamour Production. Glamour Production was this very, very tall, pretty white boy, you know, and very arrogant, very blah, 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 like this, my shit don't stink. But he had figured out a combination by using the name Glamour Production to move around different cities and advertise for a photo shoot. And he was making come and Glamour Production would take your headshots and blah blah. Of course, people came out thinking it was affiliated with Glamour magazine. It wasn't. When people say what's in the name, there's a lot in the name. So anyway, so people would come out, be lines, hundreds of people come, and my job was to take. I'm a very good photographer when it comes to, you know, looking at someone, pow, 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 pow. And finding that angle, finding that look, you know, finding that, you know, that angle about them to bring out, you know, the best, that head sheet type of headshot. And, you know, I'm an excellent headshot photographer. That's what I do, I do a headshot. You know, I am very blessed to make people very comfortable, very, very fast around me. And so I use that talent in my photography. So I would get, I think it was like about, it was like about, the models had to pay. We had a makeup artist. You know, she would do the makeup. They would get online for me to take pictures of. They come on the background. I shoot about 6 frames, no more than 6 frames. That's all I needed, 6 frames. Pow, 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 pow. Next, pow, 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 pow. Next, pow, pow, pow. And my job was at the end of it, I was supposed to process it, send them an 8x10, and that was all I was obligated to. And I think it was like about $27 for them to register. And I think I got maybe about $9 out of that $27, and makeup artist got about $4. But that was, and my money was cash. My money, I got my money before everything shut down. So at the end of the night, my pockets were so full of money. It was like, wow, I like this. So we popped around. We popped around in Denver. We popped around, you know, all over Los Angeles. We popped around in Nevada. When we got to Nevada, you know, we were shooting at the MGM, and they said, they came to him and said, look, you better be legit. Oh, yeah, sure, you're legit. So what happened in Denver, we had got to Denver, and I was flying in the next day or later that night. So, of course, you know, when he got to Denver, staying at the Hilton, the bed was too short for him. So he complained to them and wanted them to give him a bigger bed. So they couldn't provide him with a longer bed. So he said, I'm not staying here, I'm going to another hotel. So he gave the bellhop. He said, look, when the photographer comes, his $5, tell him I switched hotels. And the guy probably said, yeah, right, mother. He probably pissed him off that the guy didn't give me the message. So I get there and I'm looking, I said, well, he's supposed to be, Ron's supposed to be registered here. He said, no one is registered. He said, he left. So I waited, I stayed, and I know the shooting was that night, and I didn't get a call at that time. We didn't have cell phones, you know, so I didn't know where it was. So the next day I flew back to San Jose, California. So I got back there, so I got a call from him. He said, Gerard, where were you? I was there. I said, look, man, I was where I was supposed to be. He said, I know, we had to switch hotels, because I said, well, look, that's not my fault. He said, you coming back on the tour? I said, yeah, I'll come back on the tour. He said, okay, look, I said, wait a minute. I'll come back on tour, but you got to pay me a percentage of the money I lost. Because I know he didn't pay the photographer the same thing he was paying me. So he said, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. I said, well, you're not going to do that? And I said, it's okay. I'm not coming back. You know, I had all the merchandise. I had all the rolls of film and everything like this. So he didn't want to come back, so I refused to, you know, fulfill my obligation, you know, process the film and get them to all the clients. So around this time, the radio stations from across the country are calling it because now they're getting complaints about Glamour Production. Then once they find out that it's not Glamour Magazine, now they're calling me and say, well, you're the photographer. I said, look, I said, I'm a victim too. You know, he's supposed to pay me. You know, I got screwed too. Now, pillow talk. My makeup artist, who, you've seen pictures of her. I've shown her pictures of her. Gorgeous, gorgeous Indian girl. You know, she's in a mink coat. You see her taking pictures of her. Her name is Damar. So Damar and him, you know, ended up in bed together, which is fine, no problem. And of course, Damar Damar started telling him about her past. So he tells her that she tells him that when she was younger, she used to put on an Afro wig and rob banks. Now, remember, Damar had made so much money. She driving a brand new Toyota ZX and plates Alien 1. She was one of the first aliens. And you know, so when she told him, when they came down on him for racketeering and all that stuff like this, for not doing what he says he's going to do, he struck a deal with the FBI and turned her in. So turned her in, of course, he had given her new boobs and she's looking hot as hell. And they took everything except the boobs, of course, for obvious reasons. So she had lost everything. So anyway, so I learned the importance of having a representative. So I later did the same thing myself with touring, calling Photos by GERARD, Celebrity to the Stars, who's putting together a nationwide head sheet, and I moved around and I did the same thing, not with as big a turnout. I had important names like Lauren Hutton, a lot of names who I photographed, but it wasn't the same. So, and I had a pretty white boy as a representative. So, but it fizzled down, and I kind of moved on beyond that. So when I started doing the magazine again, and when I started coming out, and which is what I was doing, I was looking for a representative because I know the importance of having somebody represent me. The most important thing about having a representative in my mind is having someone who believes in you. No amount of money you can pay someone who's not going to believe in you to do the best possible job they can for you. And over the time when I find someone who wanted to work for me, I would say, okay, look, I need someone to do this, I need someone to do that. I said, I'm going to pay you an advanced salary, so this way I'm serious. This way you don't have to worry about transportation, getting to work. You don't have to worry about lunch. If you're gonna take care of a little something, whether it be $100 or whatever it was, I showed you I was real, because that's how I roll. You know what I'm saying? This one girl who I took a lot of time and training her and grooming her and took her out on how to sell and promote the magazine. How to present it, going through each article, each story, each everything, and my thing was that I can get through the door, but I can't close it because people don't want to put money in my hand. Because I remember when someone said, you know what, you talk too fast and you have the answers to everything. So I would always get in the door and I said, look, my assistant will come and see you in your office, and of course my sister will be this gorgeous girl that he's not going to say no to, or they're not going to say no to, because for obvious reasons, but it never got to that point because I couldn't find someone who could follow through with that whole thing. This one girl who I trained and went out and showed her how to promote the magazine and what have you, and then what she ended up doing is that she came back to me and said, I have something I want to show you. I said, okay, what you want to show me? She showed me, the business of another photographer that she's trying to get me to be a part of him and all this stuff like that. I said, wait a minute. I send you out to promote me and you're going to bring me back someone else's business that you want me to get involved in? What's wrong with you? I had, one girl come and she wanted to work and she's on, she called and I said, where are you? She said, I'm at work right now. I said, I don't want you working for me. I said, you at work getting paid to do a job, and now here you are calling for another job when someone else is paying you. I don't want you, And so that's the type of person I am. So anyway, so it was this big club called, the strip club called, I can't remember, just some gentleman's club, maybe to come to me. And I hired this girl, beautiful girl. So I said, look, I want you to come with me. I said, look, your job is to just get business cards. It was an open bar and what have you. The club was as big as Scores. If you know Scores, strip club in New York City, that gives you an idea of how big it is. I'm still trying to remember the name. But anyway, she You know, we had a drink, we sat down, met a couple of people, you know, and her drink was finished. I said, okay, would you like another drink? She said, yes. I said, okay, go get it. She said, no, you go get it. I said, wait a minute. I said, baby, do you know how many men are going to come up to you and talk to you by the time you leave that seat, go get your drink and come back? I said, all you have to ask is 2 questions. What kind of business are you in? And from that question, you should automatically have an idea and says, you know, do you make decisions as far as your advertising is concerned? Because I represent a magazine called S.G.I.B magazine. That's all you have to do. 2 questions. If they tell you, I work for the sanitation department. Oh, okay. Well, how's that throwing cans? Which I've done that too. You know, but you don't need to go any further. But if they tell you, yes, I'm CEO of electronic company or whatever. Okay, you CEO. Okay, do you have a business card? Because I'd like to talk to you about advertising in our new magazine, and it's noisy here, which is how this whole thing came about. You know, so I'd like to talk to you about it. Can I set up an appointment? She said, yes. Okay, fine. You know, she would not go. She would not walk. I said, look, I'm paying you $100 to represent me. You can't represent me sitting beside me. I know who I am. Who walk your fine ass over there and get the numbers of other motherfuckers who think the same thing that you are fine and get their business cards. I'll call them and talk to them on the phone, introduction, blah, blah, blah. Okay, look, let me send my representative around to talk to you. She'll bring some information with you. How's that sound? Okay, great, bow, boom. And that's how you do it, but I can never find nobody to do it. In fact, the mother of my kids, when everything was all said and done, who when we first started out, I don't want to go too much in that, but we first started out, and to make a long story short, she finally admitted to me, she said, you know, Gerard, I never believed in you. I said, wow. I said, wow. I said, it's okay, baby. It's okay, baby. I said, I always known that, but I'm so glad that you told me about it. Okay, so the sun's coming up. I promise to teach you how to dance, talk about music. This is house music. This is music that my brother sent me. So give me a moment, let me set up, and let's dance for my exercise, for my health. Okay. I want to turn this light off because the sun's coming up now. Okay, let's set it lighter. Okay. You're in the back part of my building. There's the sun. There's the sun. I'll let you say it. There's the sun. There's the sun. Kind of give you an idea. I don't know. Hope it's not too close to everything, but kind of give you an idea of where I'm at and this part of my home. Okay. I know you probably haven't seen it because it's probably dark, but oh well. Maybe then, maybe not. Okay. Let's put this over here. Let me make it right. Keep. All right. Now, before I start teaching you how to dance, or showing you how I dance, there's some rules I want you to follow. I want you to create an imaginary square on the floor, a box. Okay? Now, imaginary square, you have one corner, another corner, another corner, another corner. Again, you have this corner, you have this corner, you have this corner, you have this corner. Now you can mix it up. You go to this corner, back corner, side corner, top corner, side corner, side corner, side corner. See a side corner, side corner, side corner, side corner. It's stuck in a groove, okay? So with that, let's get rocking. Wait to the beat. No, it's not the beat. It's the bass line. That's not the beat.
See, it could be on the east.
It could be on the east.
It could be on the west.
It could be on the west.
It could be in Europe.
It could be in Europe.
It could be in Asia.
In Asia.
It doesn't even matter really.
It doesn't matter where you are.
I can see a video of another country getting right into it.
I can see a video anywhere.
That's house music, man.
It's house music.
So let's try this again. For those who ain't get it, alright? You can go east, you can go west, you can turn up, you can never turn down. You can find it here, you can find it there. It can be deep, it can be a sound, it can be loud, you can lose control. It can be techno or afro. It can be a song or a track of light. It can be
Get a box.
it's sort of something that makes you move.
He's still in the intro.
So many different colors and races, different sexes, ethnicities. You can be gay or straight.
You're gay or straight.
It's house music.
House music.
It should be. And that's the way I understood it since I first got its inception in New York City. And it hasn't changed.
What? Corner.
When someone asks you what's the definition of house music, what is it? You tell them it's me. I am house music.
Corner.
That's what I am.
Corner.
And if you don't understand, just tell them to back up because they're dancing all up in your space. You can go east, you can go west, we can turn up, we can never turn down. You can find it here, you can find it there. It can be deep, it can be a sound, it can be
Let's stay here.
It can be techno or afro. It can be a song or a track you like. It can be a dance or a club at night. It's sort of something that makes you move. A vibe with the drum set sets the mood. A DJ who plays the tune. That's the thing to hear the kick in the room. It can be me and you, telling you in so many different ways. I mean, you just have fun with it, man. That's what house music is. Just about having fun. Positivity, good energy, fun. Sometimes even tears. You know, it's all about the music, the good vibes. It can be soul, it can be techy, it can be very minimal, it can be disco, it can be afro. And there's so many shades, so many styles. It's all about having a good time, man. Forgetting all the nonsense that you've been through the whole week or the whole month. And it's all about expression yourself through music. And for us DJs, it's all about expression too.
Stop.
Taking the kick out, taking the bass off, putting the mids and putting the highs.
want to see you.
When that happens, we're all in a circle as one.
A box.
But at the end of the day, and at the very end of the day, house music is defined as you. There's no other explanation. So again, when they tell you what is house music, you tell them
House music. Damn. House.
house music. House music.
See you. Oh. Let's go into the box. Kevin, go to corner. Back, side, up, side, back, side, 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 up, side, side, back, side, up, back.